shepherd, and today I brought you to paradise, because all too often when we're practicing, we sometimes end up in the other place. And so that we can avoid that situation as much as possible, I'm going to give you some practice tips to help, and then a technique to help you if you get frustrated. So the first thing about practice is you should keep the session short. 10 minutes is really all you can focus at one time, and really only on one thing at a time. John Medina wrote a book called Brain Rules, and he says that your brain can only focus up to 10 minutes, and then you need to reboot your brain by thinking about something sad, funny, or beautiful to activate that feeling part of the brain that's a little further back. And this kind of shifts the focus to another part of the brain for a little while to reboot that front part of the brain that's really responsible for learning. So then you can go for another 10 minutes if you wanted to right away, or you can wait for a little longer and come back to it. But those short, frequent practices are really the most effective. 2, you need to really come up with a short chunk of something to practice, because you have a short amount of time, and I call this the smallest achievable perfection. It should be something small enough that you can really get perfect after 10 minutes. So I'm going to play a little bit of Merrily We Roll Along, pizzicato. So as we put our right and left hand together, these create sometimes situations for students that really makes them frustrated. But it should be a small enough piece of music that really you can make that perfect during your practice time of 10 minutes. So the third thing about practice is that you really need to commit to those foundational skills, those core skills that we've seen on our videos of a great left hand posture, the right amount of weight with the fingers, how to do pizzicato to make the best sound. And so just being committed to those will really reduce the amount of frustration that you'll have. And then the fourth thing is to finish off with a sort of review. Once you get something sounding great, do it a couple of more times to really solidify that foundational skill and that really good sound that you're getting. So as you're practicing, then we're going to be listening to our sound, right? So we're going to be listening, and then we might play something that sort of thuds or it doesn't really sound in tune or it feels uncomfortable. And our ears are going to be very judgy. They're going to be like those two guys on the Muppets, those two guys that sit up in the balcony looking down and saying snide comments about people on the stage. So your ears can kind of make a situation where it kind of makes it a little bit worse. I mean, you do have to self-assess. You do need to use your ears to guide you, but they should never make you feel bad. So the technique that we're going to use to deal with those guys is that we're going to create this wheel in our mind, and this wheel just keeps rolling along, and so we want to avoid the place where we hit a bump and the wheel kind of stops a little bit. Well, then maybe we have to take a pit stop and we have to breathe. So let's take a pit stop then, stop what we're doing and breathe what I call 4-2-6. So you breathe in for 4 counts, kind of making your belly expand as you breathe. Really breathe in deep for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and then breathe out for 6. That sort of like fogging out a mirror, like if you were holding a mirror up and you were just sort of like breathing sort of slowly to fog up that mirror. So let's try that together. We're going to go 4 in, hold for 2, and then breathe out for 6. And that kind of calms yourself, and it sort of gives you a chance to remove yourself from the situation. And then number 2, the step 2 is to take a selfie. So you're holding your phone, you're taking a selfie, not really, but you're just thinking that you're just taking a picture, you're stepping away of the situation, and you're going to ask yourself, what's really going on here? That's really interesting that I've gotten upset because I couldn't make a sound with my first finger. So you're saying, okay, what's going on? And then ask yourself, what do I want? That's step number 3. What do I really want? Well, obviously you weren't getting what you wanted because you were getting upset. In this case, it was, I want to get a nice sound with my first finger feeling comfortable and relaxed on the cello. And so then the fourth step is make a plan to achieve that. And that might be splitting things up, breaking things down a little bit, like, okay, can I make a good pizzicato sound with just my right hand? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, what about this? Am I getting a good sound when I don't? Oh, I guess I'm not putting enough weight down. So I'm going to use my whole arm. This is what we do on the cello, by the way. We use the whole arm to pull that string back, but not so much weight that it's really uncomfortable. So we make that plan, and then we use that plan, see if it fixes the situation, and maybe we can get that ball or that wheel rolling again and start our practice session again until maybe we hit another bump and we need to do that process again of taking a pit stop, take a picture of the situation, ask yourself, what's going on here and what do I really want? And then making a plan to really do this practice session in an efficient way and not get too stuck on negative feelings. So you could really use this technique in all kinds of situations, like when you're doing your math homework, for instance, if you get frustrated. Or let's say your friend says something mean to you and it makes you upset. You can actually use this in all kinds of situations to help yourself out and to feel better, so that you can really keep your brain in the frontal part of your brain, so that you can learn more efficiently when you're studying or when you're practicing your instrument. And so using that technique, I think that we can stay in paradise and not have to go to that other place.